What do you think is the biggest secret being kept from mankind? When I was younger, I read a story in the news of a company that had come up with a bacteria that they would put into your mouth. This bacteria was harmless to people, but ate the bacteria that damages our teeth. It would have destroyed the dental industry. For some reason, I never saw it again. That there are people in the world that are richer than the known richest people in the world. If you are that rich, you can afford to be anonymous. 2. I am not saying that Jeff Bezos is rich. I am sure he is. I just believe that there are a tiny group of people that have more wealth than Bezos, and that they've used that wealth to hide the fact that they are that wealthy from the world. The location of all these hot singles in my area. The rich buying art to avoid taxes. That most conspiracy theories are actually the conspiracy in of itself. That certain parties are creating crazy conspiracies to confuse the masses between reality and fiction to make them more easily controlled, manipulated. The government doesn't actually care about your grandmother's secret cherry pie recipe. How much wealth is making major political decisions rather than democracy? Either that or how much the planet is already fucked from climate change. True history. I genuinely believe that there have been things discovered in the past that tell a different story of the past and are intentionally hidden. That with all of the alliances between nations, the trade deals, economic policies, mission statements, enmities, backroom dealings, spy networks, wars, etc., the powerful don't have the amount of control or vision that we like to believe that they have. The big secret is that it's all a lie. The only thing holding civilization together is that the vast majority of people think that even though the powerful are corrupt, they're at least competent to hold civilization together. They are not. 2020 is just a taste of that reality. The next possible Earth-ending force. There's a very strong possibility that NASA and the space industry know what it is and when it will happen, but won't inform the general public until it passes altogether. If there is absolute certainty it will occur minutes before it happens, it is because there would be literally nothing we could do about it and they would not want to cause major havoc in our last minutes alive. I don't know, it's a secret from mankind that if Jesus did exist, the church would not accept any actual second coming of the Messiah because they then lose their power. Where did Cotton Eye Joe come from? And where did he go? Top 10 questions scientists still can't answer. That the Salvation Army is a giant fucking scam. They use the homeless or the courts to enlist addicts scared of jail time or ex-cons with nowhere to parole to as basically slaves. I personally went to one. I had to work 5 days a week, 40-hour weeks, for no pay in their warehouse sorting donations, but at the end of the week they gave us a gratuity of like $7 that maxed out to $20. Bumped up $1 a week. If you contradict their two-faced Christian ways they will smile at ya while they boot ya out the door knowing there's another 10 hard-pressed fuckers waiting to come in. I have personally seen an arranged marriage happen while there from a member who joined and went down the rabbit hole of the cult that is Salvation Army. I remember these fuckers also asked for donations every Sunday from us and took like 50 cents for missionaries out of gratuity they gave us. I have never been more morally violated in any other place in my life, but was in quite the hard spot. Fuck, I cringe on how many times I had to shut my mouth. Upon entry you have to tell them your religion. I put down atheist, my friend there is Jewish. I've never seen someone get more shit in my life for being Jewish. Not trying to convert but just degrading them for their religious upbringing. Some food for thought. http http www.wrongkindofgreen.org/2013/03/18/the-starvation-army-12-reasons-to-reject-the-salvation-army/. The greatest unknown. That the overarching supposition of TV news that the natural state of things is to go well and will do so if the corrupt and the stupid are continually exposed is the greatest falsehood ever, and that it persists only because the corrupt and stupid make obscene amounts of money by perpetrating belief in it. The ability of TV news to censor all sustained, deep analysis of its effects on society is the greatest existential threat to liberal democracy. Read Virginia Postrol's works. The biggest secret being I know of is probably that fat bastard who sneaks into my house at night and takes credit for all of the gifts I'd gotten for everyone. Not so much a secret, but I think there are events that happened in the past we'll never know about that would blow our minds. Same thing for people who were interesting, incredible, unique, super talented, etc. that were never documented. Recording history has always been shoddy at best, especially the further back you go. I bet even if we went back 150 years there would be things that occurred that would be historically incredible, but since they weren't recorded we'll never know about them. 2020 really is the series finale. Undertaker deliberately threw mankind off Hell in a Cell, and the whole scene was pre-planned by the WWF organizers. Mankind was not told about it. We've already made alien contact and they want nothing to do with us. Not really secrets, but we will never solve climate change. Not for lack of technology. Simply because humans are unlikely to adopt a new way of doing things in time to stop it. Every major company in the world is deep in debt and their infrastructures are flawed. Which means, if you pull back the curtains far enough, you realize they are all being held together with duct tape and bubble gum. Draco antiviral. Broad-spectrum antiviral that probably would have gotten us out of this mess. As I understand it, when a cell becomes infected by a virus, any virus, it makes a cry for help protein to indicate it is infected. Draco has the mate to this protein, binds with it, and snaps into. The second half of Draco is a protein that sends the cell a message to trigger apoptosis. Long story short, any cell you have that becomes infected by a virus commits suicide instead of making more viruses. I can't for the life of me figure out why this man didn't get a Nobel Prize and this drug isn't available everywhere. It's an utterly brilliant idea. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Draco. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Draco. Prehistory. This is very fringe, but I like to think it's true. So we have ancient sites in Turkey that are 12,000 years old, made with stunning craftsmanship. Carvings of precession of the equinox, which is an absurdly minor detail that would be near impossible to know back then. Writings of Atlantis being swallowed by the sea. Some scientists say there was a great cataclysm that hit the reset button on a well-formed civilization. Then boom, thousands of years later civilization comes out swinging, building massive monoliths we can't replicate today. More carvings of astronomy that would be near impossible to know of. This is worldwide, by the way. Dynastic Egypt built the pyramids on top of gargantuan foundation stones that are arguably a bigger mystery than the pyramids themselves. It's said a global civilization comparable to our current one existed and was destroyed. And what we think was the start of ours is actually a continuation of the previous one. that used what knowledge was passed down until we could start again. Somewhere out there ancient bloodlines have recorded this and have deep knowledge of the world that was, and use it to hold influence over us now. Totally a theory I know there's holes and arguments against. It's just super fun to think about. Aliens. An wealthy elite secret society that controlled the world and guided it for financial and personal ideological gain. That we are actually not real, but in a simulation. Perverts and psychopaths run the world. That coexistence of multiple realms once called magic that we've turned away from and forgotten about. Whoever let the dogs out? Where the fuck the people replying to this post are buying their drugs? We have many resources to make the world a better place. Clean energy, affordable housing and food, etc. But we don't because capitalists want stonks. 3D printers existed in the 20th century. I don't know from when exactly and I am too lazy to research it. But it wasn't available to anyone because it was trademarked. Battery cars were also a thing back then but wasn't manufactured because of capitalists. See-through solar panels exist from before 2014 but again no one uses it. If rich people donated the same amount of money that did to rebuild Notre Dame, we could clean the oceans. I could go all day with this. Stevie Wonder can see. Clean cars and better battery can be made but manufacturers refuse to do it because it means less money for them. What happens after death? If all people suddenly remembered the truth about being dead, we would see people jumping out of windows and off bridges en masse. People would not be so willing to put up with abuse, loss of dignity, low salaries, low quality of life, pain and suffering. The rich would have to clean their own toilets, because people would honor themselves too much to trade time for money. So the truth is hidden. People are told lies about hell and eternal damnation to prevent them from escaping abuse and suffering. People are easier to control and manipulate when they fear dying, fear eternal torture and/or fear no longer existing. https m.youtube.com/watch v1fd5lrec64 https m.youtube.com/watch v5xra79tr0 https m.youtube.com/watch vepbzs8 hecto Siemens 36K. Nothing. I doubt if any government, for example, is competent enough to get away with it. What Willis was actually talking about. Victorious. The biggest thing being kept from mankind is the truth. Division among the mass has made us blind. They pit us against each other. Red and blue, white and colored, rich and poor, government and we the people. They can lock down our body but they can't lock down our minds. People that are secretly alive but dead for the public life and vice versa. Diamonds are actually not that rare. The power of psychedelics. We're in the Matrix, but is that a secret? Time, dimension travel. The power of many is stronger than the few, yet the few control the many. What Meatloaf wouldn't do for love. Spiritual awakening. The earth is indeed not flat. Earth wasn't created just for us to deplete its resources. I am an anti-conspiracy theorist. I believe there is no higher power that controls everything. Neither that everything is their plan. On the contrary, I believe that nobody has a fucking idea of what they are doing. Nobody has really power. Nobody can really control anything. Everybody feels that the world is led by somebody, something else. Everybody do their best to change things. Maybe also for their interest. But they feels that everything is bigger than them to really be in full control. They only manage to make small, meaningless changes in their limited area of influence, which they feel is too small to fully meet their goals. No matter if you are the CEO of a small company, Bill Gates, a rich sultan, a king, or a small mayor. This is true at any level of the society and of the world. Almost everybody feels to be an imposter at their place. They are all right. We are a beehive without queen bee, a ship without captain, a train without machinist. At the higher level, somebody must have understood us, but they are far from telling everybody. Emotion regulation not being a subject you have to excel at in school. That nothing matters. You are a speck of dust in the universe. Nothing you do matters. We are all walking piles of goop held together by bones and flesh. People make up governments and religion so that we don't stray our entire lives feeling hopeless. And #X200B. Sweet dreams, you beautiful pieces of nothing. Climate change is much worse than they are letting on, and are slowly changing predictions to ease us into how awful it's going to be. Also aliens. Humans accelerated way too quickly in the 1900s for aliens not to be involved. Where the other sock goes. There will never be two pretty best friends. The real history of humans. How we came to be and the ancients having contact with aliens. ***** Paranoia trigger warning. If your imagination gets to running away more than you want, maybe skip this one. That humans are nowhere near being the dominant life form on this planet, nor the most advanced technologically. Minor observations. Despite radically differing histories, personalities, promises, and objectives, every single president in history has pretty much fallen in line with the same foundational approaches, even when those approaches are diametrically opposed to their ethics. Humans have an observable cyclic population drop, more than a few sci-fi writers have commented on. The regularity of how often humanity has some massive population setback. While there are alternative explanations, periodic culling of the herd has also fit this manufactured storyline. Finally, a double touch for added paranoia. The Himba tribe has over a dozen words for the color green, yet didn't have one for blue. They could pick out swatches of green color and distinguish you at a glance. Finding one distinctly blue square among those green ones was less than 50-50 for a while. Without a word to wrap around the color of the object viewed, their minds had trouble processing what they were seeing, and capable of seeing. If we didn't know there was a thing of that unknown color somewhere, and no one told how you to look for it, would we even be aware of it, even if it was right in front of us? I mean, it's called a blind spot for a reason. And what are cats staring at? I think there is no cure for asthma because pharmaceutical companies want you to keep paying for medications just so you can breathe. I have no medical proof of this, but you never hear about trying to find a cure for asthma or anything like that. I am guessing they do the same for other things as well. Where we actually are in space travel tech, or just our reach in the solar system in general. No way they stopped making ludicrously expensive crafts. That bacteria these scientists created that eats plastic in the ocean. Why isn't anyone talking about it anymore? Well, you see, if I smoke a fuck ton of pot and sometimes DMT and watch Ancient Aliens, I become convinced that aliens are actually Bigfoot and that JFK actually had sex with a Martian Marilyn Monroe bot and divulged all our country's biggest secrets to her, and that's why we had to get to the moon so desperately, because the moon's actually where crack is born. That we do not know it all and that we will never know it all. Mankind only knows what mankind has been designed to know. Just like the human eye can only see what the human eye is capable of seeing. The eye cannot see what a telescope can see, and it never will. Probably that everyone can become a monster or a saint and there is no such thing as nature in nature versus nurture dilemma. It's all nurture. There's multinational organ harvesting organization to keep the oligarch always healthy. Some of them hidden away already reaching over 200 years old. The war between nations are only there to control population. Any person that causes deviation to the oligarch master plan always results in death or missing. James. Krabby Patty secret formula. We've all been duped into working our lives away by faceless people who view us as their slaves. Jesus is in fact only my landscaper and is not our savior. OMG the aliens. Maybe humans are cool but selfish and competitive to the point of death, so they make innovations and secret military flying things? No. The more likely option is that alien races came and happened to be found by the higher-ups of society, and the aliens were smart enough to progress humanity but not smart enough to realize politicians were corrupt and not smart enough to escape. Also, the aliens look like slightly deformed humans because we are the min-max the shape. Think. If something is up, it's not going to be something so popular and crazy. It's going to be something simple but extreme. Not hyper-intelligent space humanoids captured by politicians. CIA propaganda, manipulation techniques and the extent of their reach. The only reason we know about MKUltra is because it didn't work. What the hell is being kept in Area 51 and all the other government-run areas? An extraterrestrial life. We've had released footage of UFOs are forever and the government tried to re-release some footage, further confirming the footage. In like April of this year, there was a podcast I listened to that had the guy who took the photo talking on it. I just want absolute confirmation on whether or not they're real. I'll be satisfied with either yes or no. I don't really care what the answer is. I just want an absolute answer. That the devil isn't real. More detailed info on Jesus and God. Okay, this might sound stupid to some, but possibly the actual cure for cancer. I talked to my boyfriend about this before. The cure for it, or even one particular cancer in general, would be absolutely priceless. Literally. So until the government, I guess, comes to a conclusion what to do with said cure under agreement terms, it stays locked and hidden. And fuck it, probably some UFO alien ship to LMAO. I mean, who knows at this point? The true purpose of JFK's assassination, alongside other mysterious deaths and disappearances. That nothing is true, everything is permissible. Quote. The true and only source of pure denim. That God is one of us. The amount of abuse and corruption that occurs across the board in positions of power. Everything is an endless cycle. Civilization has existed on the planet before, died out and been born again. Probably a few times. This is the ultimate nature of the universe itself. It beats out, expands, then breaths in, implodes, then breaths out again, probably improving on itself little by little with every new breath. You guys might want to sit down for this. Lightsabers exist. I saw one in my mom's closet before, and I played with it, but I never saw it again after. Alternate sources to petrol have definitely been discovered, or engines that can run on other alternatives, and the moment they were created they'd have been bought out by fuel companies. Cure for cancer. Drug companies and healthcare benefits greatly from treatments, drugs, long-term care, funeral services and research companies. If cancer is cured, then they will lose all the research money that is given by people, companies and other government programs. Drug companies benefit the most from cancer patients. I believe if they have one they won't expose it because one of their big cash cows will be gone. We have drugs as sustained live to a livable standard for most things after all these decades, but yet nothing for cancer but surgery, death and some treatments that cause all these other side effects. That anti-mask propaganda is supported by China and Russia to make Americans weaker. Tall grays running everything. Dumb pyramids though. Human history. We as modern humans have come and gone in cycles. For hundreds of thousands of years. Aliens and craft come from inner earth caverns etc. No, it's not a hollow egg. Cave systems massive. That the lizard people secretly running the world are just as inept as we are. Damn inbred lizards think they know everything. Just because you can swallow a house cat whole does not make you fit to rule. All those side-loading washing machines that were pushed on us don't actually clean more efficiently. They just don't clean. Same with the energy-efficient dryers. The location of Atlantis. What I fapped to. Once I read that the Vatican somehow knows that God actually does not exist. And that's why the popes always have that sad face. The question should be who is keeping the secret from mankind? We are doing it to ourselves. Like take high doses of vitamin D3. It obviously have great value to anyone looking closely. But we are so enamored of our medical profession that we can't see the obvious. Kept by who? Obviously extraterrestrial intelligence is watching us and laughing, crying. Everyone is saying aliens, but I don't think aliens are a secret. They are out there somewhere, which is almost a mathematical fact. Also, many governments, including the United States, have admitted very openly that there have been instances of UFO encounters around the world. Are those two things connected? Maybe not. It's entirely possible we are the most intelligent life forms in the universe, or any other life form is millions of light years away. But still there are certainly aliens somewhere. The FBI killed MLK. Victorious. Tell us, you bitch. When you are inside a myth it seems like self-evident truth. We're all in the Matrix. That everyone is flailing and nobody is in control in the slightest. Alien life. I think they are waiting for us to reach warp. I would like to believe that a Star Trek future is possible. The question to the universe, life and everything. Contrary to popular belief, you won't get raided by a SWAT team if you cut the label off your mattress. Where the other sock went. Pigeons are literally government spies. Don't ever be friends with one. Don't feed them, talk to them, or even look at them. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Call your lawyer before contact with a pigeon. Cancer risk of smoking is from polonium. Gay frogs. It's a gay bomb, baby. Certainly one of the biggest is Stanley Meyer's water fuel cell that he used to build a water-fueled car. He was at a restaurant with his brother and two investors when he got up and ran outside saying, "They poisoned me," and died. That there exists some concise mathematical expression that fundamentally describes reality. Like, what is the fabric of existence? Old chap. Well now, good sir, it's R of course. I am not sure how to word it, but like, a way of using notation to explain why math and logic and numbers and dimensions exist the way they do. It would probably be some new way of thinking about reality. That we are not alone and we never were. I know a lot of you will scroll past this or maybe just check the links and go, meh. But please just ask yourself these questions. What would happen if these vehicles that the Navy pilots saw, and that Pentagon confirmed are real gun camera footage from fighter jets, had a Chinese or Russian flag on it. For lefties, U.S. Navy confirms UFO videos are the real deal. https www.youtube.com/watch V60ZJQ4I73M. For righties, U.S. Navy confirms multiple UFO videos are real. https www.youtube.com/watch VHCAYSE7RVW. Senator Marco Rubio on unidentified objects over military installations. https www.youtube.com/watch VXP0A05BGONAB channel unidentified aerial phenomena. Senator Mark Warner UFO briefing. https www.youtube.com/watch Voxo4IUGYDVINAB channel Project Unity. How rich the truly rich families are. That our existence is sustainable and consistent with the actual global economics model and energy resources. Yes, even solar, with just a bit higher waste recycling. All cancers are curable, but pharmaceutical companies profit too much from giving you slow partial treatments that don't actually cure it. We will never get a cure for AIDS. We will only find ways to lessen the effects of it, because medicine brings in money, and a cure doesn't after a while. What do you do with a drunken sailor, especially early in the morning? The cure for cancer and AIDS. That SARS-CoV-2 is man-made. That all our tech, right around the time the transistor was invented, is all reverse-engineered from alien tech in Roswell. Seems like after whatever crashed in Roswell in the 40s, technology has rapidly gotten better. I.e., if the Roswell crash never happened, we would still be using vacuum tubes for everything. Aliens and alien technology. My dad. A cure against cancer.